Hello, 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 and welcome to the Pulpit Wives Podcast. I'm Sharon Rand, your host, the Pulpit Wife, the coach for the preacher's wife. And today we have our special guest. But before you get comfortable, I wanted to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to come back to you and ask you those questions. So I'm going to ask you if you liked, comment, or subscribe. But you're going to enjoy my guest today so much. You're going to have to like it. You're going to have to comment. And so today I want to let you know I have a person who I believe is making big moves in Jackson, Mississippi. Not only in Jackson, Mississippi, but around this state. Some out of state. She's doing some awesome things, and I want to be one of the first to have her on the Pulpit Wives podcast. So stay tuned because today we are going to be talking to Dr. Tonja Murphy. Dr. Tonja Murphy, and she will tell you more about herself. She's a grown woman. She can tell you all the other things that you need to know about her. But I'm so excited to have her here, and we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna ask questions. We're gonna have some fun. But mostly, I want to make sure you remember Dr. Tonja Murphy. She's an author and a community advocate. She has some other things going on, but I'm going to make sure she tells the full story. So, once again, welcome to the Pulpit Wives Podcast. Your host, Sharon Rand, our guest, Dr. Tonja Murphy. Welcome, Dr. Tonja Murphy. Doctor. I just
Yeah.
love saying that, Dr. Tonja Murphy. She's a recent graduate and she will tell you more about that. So
Mhm.
let's just get into it. I
Okay.
introduced her as an author and a community advocate, but I'm excited about her community advocacy. So,
Mhm.
Tanya, what inspired you to get involved in the community?
Well, I think what inspired me to get involved in the community was, I always saw my parents be involved in different things. Like my mama was involved in PTA, doing PTA at schools and, doing those kinds of things. And my dad, he was a minister. And so he would be doing things in the community and also in the churches that he pastored. And what was interesting about what my dad would do beyond the church is just a lot of community stuff. Like he had several businesses that were in the community. He would escort funerals on his motorcycle. People needed that for funerals. If you needed your house sprayed, exterminated, he would do that. And so just a lot of different things. But I saw people, oh, he was a part of a community patrol, like not really a police, but kind of a police. He wasn't sworn in. And so, he would do
Okay.
those different things. And so I just grew up seeing that. And I don't think I really saw it come out in me until probably I was an adult. I was always involved in what my kids were doing in their schools and different things. But I really didn't see it really get into me as far as community until then. I was actually working at the Clarion Ledger newspaper. And so every time the Clarion Ledger uh, they would sponsor events or different stuff and different things going on, I would always, attend those things. They may sponsor a table at an event or, do some different things. And they would pick people from different departments to go sit at these tables. And so I saw where what the newspaper was supporting and I would go and I would meet people and hear about the work they were doing and that sort of thing. And so I was working in a corporate setting and this was happening. And so, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, my world got flipped upside down. And
Okay.
some of the organizations we volunteer for at the Clarion Ledger, I was volunteer for one particular organization and I ended up needing services from that organization.
Okay.
Got those services, and then it was probably, I don't know, maybe a year later, if that long. And they said, well, why don't you come work for us? And I had been volunteering. And I mean, after I got the services, like I believe in the mission,
Okay.
what they were doing. And so I was counting all of the things. God is so good. His count
Yes.
is different from our count. I was
Yes.
counting all of the things. I'm like, if I take this job, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, all these kinds of things. So I did not take the job. That night, I got in the bed and bawled and cried because I was like, if dad was here, dad would say, you take
Oh,
the job, let God figure out the rest.
okay.
And so I was like, okay. And that was the first time I knew that my work full time, all the time, would not be in a corporate setting. It would be in nonprofits in the community. I
Okay.
kept volunteering. A couple of months later, the people came back to me and said, what would it take for you to come work for us?
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
gave them a number. I was volunteering. I gave them a number. And they said, oh, we can do that. We can do that.
Oof.
So everything was taken care of, all that. And I've been working in nonprofits for over 20 years. I've been working in nonprofit organizations. And all glory to God, there has never been a job I've had in a nonprofit setting. And this is not bragging. Let me premise this by saying this. I never had to go looking for it. They came looking for me.
Hmm.
They
All
came to
right.
me.
Okay.
And I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is the work I'm supposed to be doing. My children never suffered because of the work. They never suffered because of the income, because nonprofits don't pay a whole lot of money. But yeah, I have enjoyed community. I have really, really enjoyed, and
Wow.
it just overlapped. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. It has
No,
in
no, you're doing fine. You're doing
it
fine.
has overlapped because that nonprofit I started working with at first with their families.
Hmm.
I work with their children now, and some of them their grandchildren, because they was like, oh, that's someone called me Miss Murphy or TT or Miss Tonja. Oh, we know her. Yeah, you can go over there and do that with her. So it's just really been a generational work.
Okay.
Multi generations of work. So yeah. Hmm.
Okay, that pretty much leads into the next question,
Hmm.
about how you started and your community service led to helping others in the community.
Hmm.
And so now
Hmm.
you're known in the community.
Hmm.
Um, I've seen you in different spaces with
Hmm.
different people, and one of the ones I remember the most is the transitioning of the flag in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Volunteering. I
huge.
was
Volunteering.
volunteering. That still is one of the most, I don't know, speechless moments. It's still because I was volunteering, and you're referring to when they changed the
the,
state flag from Mississippi
the
to the
state
new
flag.
flag. And what's so crazy, and I don't think I've ever shared this anywhere. So I guess this will be exclusive to this conversation. So I was asked to volunteer, and they had the time and the date. Time and date. I was like, okay, I can get away from my office for a few hours, do it, come back, fine. But at the last minute, the day of, they changed. They changed the date and the time. They changed the date and the time.
Okay.
It's a whole nother day, whole nother time. So I had already mapped this out how I could leave my
Mhm.
office go and come back. So I had to go home, change clothes, grab the first thing I saw to put on, and I'm thinking, I hope this suit fit. I hope this suit fit. I'm endowed on the
My
bottom.
dilemma.
So look, so I said, I hope this suit fits. So I get home, put the suit on, get there or whatever. And they positioned me, at the steps of the Capitol. So I was there just telling people you can't stand right here because they were gonna come through and all that.
Mhm.
So we went over to the museum. So we went to the museum, and I was just making sure, whatever. And they were taking the flags. They literally took the flags from one person, handed them to another person.
Mhm.
Flags are really heavy. A lot of people don't know that. So the person that they handed them to, I saw that they were so heavy. I walked up to her, put my hands out, got the flags, and I was just gonna kind of walk out of the view of all of the cameras, all of that. Somebody tapped me on my shoulder and said, "You go stand right there."
It made
I
national
be-
news.
Made national. I became a part of a program that I wasn't even on the program. I'm just standing there and look, I could literally feel sweat running down my legs because it was humid.
Yeah, and you had on a
So when
suit.
it was so crazy, when it was all over with, people from like Associated Press, photographers coming up, it was like, hey, ma'am, hey, ma'am, who are you? I said, I'm just a volunteer. That's all I could say was I'm just a volunteer. Because
Yeah,
literally, I was
that's
just
what you
a
came to do.
volunteer. And
Hmm.
I didn't think anything of it. Next day, I started getting texts and phone calls. Did you know your picture's in the paper?
And
I'm
you
huh?
made national news.
Had no idea. And all this time, it was on live, like Facebook Live, and people were texting like, "That's Tonja, that's Tonja."
Because it came on
And
during the lunch break.
had,
Hmm.
had no idea. But that was one of those moments that I'll never forget. And I tell people, my hands were a set of the last hands to touch that flag before it goes into the museum.
Into the vault.
Yeah, into the
Into the
vault.
vault.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you made history not only for the people who saw you, but the next generation of
yeah.
your people, your
A lot of
children's
people fought for
children.
that change. A
Yeah.
lot of people fought for that
Yes.
change. And
For a long
so,
time,
a
because
very
that
long
flag
time.
has been there. But
Mhm,
wow. That
mhm,
I want to make sure I ask you about that question.
mhm.
What does leadership look like to you as you serve the underserved community?
Oh, it looks like a couple of different things.
Okay.
Leadership on different levels.
Hmm.
And the expectation of leadership on those different levels. And I want to use maybe an example to kind of explain what
Okay.
I see is.
Okay.
Okay, so with a nonprofit organization, you have maybe your board and funder, you have people that work in the organization, and then you have people who are receiving the services.
Hmm.
So the board and the funders, how they have to lead is they have to understand and know we need to be going after these kinds of dollars. We need to understand when we get these dollars, this is how much impact we can make with the community or the clients that are being served. Okay.
Okay.
With the people who work for the organization, they have to understand their role in leading because people have to be treated a certain way and fairly when they're being served at those organizations. And sometimes, one thing about leadership, how we lead ourselves. And so you have to
Mm.
be able to lead yourself if you're going to help the people that you are serving on that level. So I think there's some leadership on all three levels that we have to be aware of and mindful of when we
Hmm.
do those things. Now, we have to, of course, talk about the people that we serve because there's an expectation on how they lead as well. So, I work in a affordable housing organization. That head of household needs to be able to lead so they can stay in that house. It's so simple.
Leadership all the way around.
It's so simple. It's like this is not complicated. This is not rocket science. This is one plus
Hmm.
one equals two. So the people that work in the organization have to make sure that they're providing tools so these people know how to lead. Because if they do not, it's not a hand up, it's a setup. You're setting them up for failure. So you have to be able to give them those things. So yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Wow. This is awesome. We're having an awesome conversation. Once
Hmm.
again, I'm Sharon Rand, the Pulpit Wife, and this is the Pulpit Wife's podcast. And today I have Dr. Tonja Murphy with me, author and community advocate. She has
Hmm.
some great information concerning what she does in the community. And also, we're going to talk about her books. But while you're here, I know you're already liking, commenting, and somebody subscribed. If you didn't, nudge your neighbor, tell them y'all better press that button because you might miss something because the pulpit wife is always on the move. So we're going to get back to Tonja Murphy, Dr. Tonja Murphy, and just a few more questions. You are also a nonprofit organizer yourself.
Mhm.
You started a couple of community events. You want to talk about a couple of those?
Ooh, okay. So the first one is, of course, the Ladybug Club, my mother and daughter organization. Um, and that organization was actually sunsetted in December after 20 years. The girls, yeah, 20 years. Yeah. The girls are grown, some are married, got kids, that sort of thing. I'm still just a phone call, text, email away from them. But I think what they needed, I was able to give that to them. But it was a lot of growth in them. But I grew a lot too. They taught me so much, during the time we're there. And some of those women I consider some of my dearest friends, the girls, I still keep in touch with them. So it was really,
Mhm.
really good. Now, so that's with the Ladybug Club. I actually host a book events called book tastings, where I invite authors to come and share they have an opportunity to have people taste their books and
I love
they
it.
share their books, take questions from the audience, actually in a safe or non-threatening kind of way. And I created that because sometimes authors who are just starting out, they're at the mercy of the table when they sign up for a vendor event. You might
Yes,
pay that $75. That's just a vendor fee, not to mention all your little stuff you give
that's right.
away, all those things. You sit there all day and don't sell not one book. All you did was network.
That's
But
it.
I wanted to have an opportunity for authors to come in and them, they share, and everybody there is their audience. So I would get all the authors to share, and then people have an opportunity to buy books. And one of the things I've noticed, because I've done it like 4 times at this point,
Mm-hmm.
is the authors are like reinvigorated about their book after the event.
Yes.
They're
Mm-hmm.
reinvigorated. So I like being able to do that. And I have one coming up probably in the next month or so. I took a month or so off to really kind of rethink what kind of experience I wanted the authors to have and
Mm-hmm.
the audience. And I'm gonna put a pin right there. Sometimes it doesn't matter how long you've done a thing or how many times you've done a thing. You
That's
need to
right.
stop and reevaluate that thing to make sure that that thing is still doing what you thought that thing
That's
would
right.
do. So
Mm-hmm.
um did that. I have a podcast which
Okay.
it's called Sipping Tea with Tonja. And the thing, and I like talking to people. I like hearing about what they got going on. But this is the interesting thing about the podcast. I like to talk to people who are maybe known for one thing, but it's so much more to them. I want them to share
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, what do you like? Like, I had one
Yes.
person on there. She's known for like museums. She was directors of museums, all that. She likes butterflies and birds.
See,
And she
nobody
wants
would know
somebody,
that.
and that's people don't know that, but really, giving people an opportunity to share those kinds of
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So doing that, I also teach creative writing to kids who are incarcerated, teenagers who are incarcerated,
Okay.
and actually produce some work. So it's all connected. It's really all connected. Now, all that stuff I mentioned is stuff that honestly, most of it I do for free. And that's what a lot of people don't know.
Non-profit.
I do it for free. And matter of fact, nah, it's more than non-profit. Sometimes I go
Mhm.
in red a little bit, but But there has never been a time, and I posted this on social media recently. There's never been a time that an idea, a God-given, I mean, all caps, God-given idea went unfunded. It's never been a time. Never
Okay.
been a time.
That's
Never.
that is great. I mean, Tanya, you have so many talents, so many gifts. The
Mhm.
one that inspired me,
Mhm.
if you didn't know,
Hmm.
was your entrepreneurship that there, but as an author.
Mhm.
You had a class um maybe a couple, it had to been like 4 years
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you invited me to the class
Mm-hmm.
for publishing a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have the pictures, I have the notes, I have all of that. I
Mm-hmm.
said, wait a minute, I can do this. And you
Mm-hmm.
inspired me to do that. So I look for other people to carry me a little bit further. And
Mm-hmm.
then I went on to start my own self-publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done a couple of things, and I got somebody who calling me now, but we're gonna talk about that because there are always some things in your business that ruffle your feathers or have some type of lasting effect. I'll
Yeah.
say that you have disruptions and you have miscommunications. But what motivated you to start writing books?
One of my children.
Okay.
I used to send this text message out every day to about 40 to 50 people. And it was like it wasn't a group text. Because it would go individual.
Mhm.
And my youngest son said, Mama, I feel like you got more to say. And I said, I do.
Hmm.
And so I wrote some of the short stories to go along with those. It was called Thought for the Day.
Okay.
And wrote some of the short stories to go with it. And what was so funny, okay, so the book cover, this is so crazy. And I have learned so much about publishing since then. So I was doing my research on short story collections, and it said in the research, name your collection after one of the stories in the book. So icing on the cupcake, this story about icing on the cupcake just kept coming. It just wouldn't let me go. And
Okay.
sometimes when something won't let me go, I just yield to it. So
Mm.
my fraternity brother owned a bakery. And so his cupcakes are actually on the front of this book.
Yep.
Okay. So everybody thought it was a cookbook. I'm like, it's not a cookbook. It's short stories. And so I said, after this one, I will never write another book again. God thought that was so funny. He was laughing. He said, ha, 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 ha. That's what he said. He said it just like that. So, but what a lot of people don't know after I said all of that, the second book was written before the first book was published.
Hmm.
It was.
Wow.
So yeah, the novel. And it was because National Novel Writing Month was in November, and I wanted to try that out. I have been doing all of my research about writing and publishing. And so that's National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, is where you write 1,500 words a day, every
Okay.
day for a whole month. At the end of the month, you have enough words to make a novel. Now, you got to edit it, clean it up, fix it, but it's
Mhm.
really to get you into the rhythm of writing. Because the more
Writing.
you write, the better writer you are.
Okay.
And so that's how The Lost Coin came about. And I was like, oh, I'd never write another novel. And God said, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. He said it just like that. I promise it was just
Okay.
that. So I did write a second novel, but in between the second novel, I did a journal.
Okay.
But something came to me one year and I was like, I want to, it was 22 or 20, whatever year it was. No, it was 17. And what I had noticed with journals, and I have never seen this done before, even after I did it, I noticed in journals they had something every day.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I wanted to have a journal prompt or a
Yes.
prayer. And that
Yes.
you pray that same prayer every day for a week. And
Mm-hmm.
you will make a note for you, people, that sort of thing. And so I
Mm-hmm.
did a 17 week, but it was just 17 prayers. But you have space to write something every day because
Every day.
yeah, sometimes when you're reading a journal prompt, it's not
Mm-hmm.
for you. But who is that person that pops right in your spirit when you're thinking about it? Like
As
that,
soon as you read it. Mm-hmm.
and every day it might not be the same person. So I reached out to my pastor. That came to mind. I reached out to my pastor. She said, write it. And so I wrote it.
So how
So,
many books have you have written?
actually, it's 12. It's
12 books.
actually
Mm-hmm.
it's 10 of them, and really sometimes I have to write down the names of all of them because I forget. But I have short story collections, I have some journals, novels, a children's book. Now I have 10 books that are just solely my books, but two of my books are actually wedding books. So people who have reached out, and I do video interviews and I write their love story and then I put it into a book.
Oh, that's nice.
So how they
That's
met,
nice.
how they proposed, their upbringing, what do they
Hmm.
see the wedding looking like, that sort of thing. So I've done that twice. Hmm.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
because you have to sit down with each person and the
Not
couple together.
more than once, because if it's 15 stories, I have to do 15 separate interviews.
Sessions. Hmm.
And one couple, they said, man, nobody ever asked me these things. One of the couples, one of the people, I mean, they just cried the whole time. She said, this was
It was
so
like therapy.
therapeutic. She said, this was so therapeutic. She said, I was able to get it out. And I said, I
Hmm.
will make sure to handle your story very gently because
Yes,
this was hard for you
it
to
was
share.
personal.
And so
Hmm.
I know how to put it in a way to where nobody feel like, wait a minute, you wrote that about me in this book. So no. Hmm.
Yeah. Yep, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And what reading project do you have going on right now? Not
Reading.
writing, reading. Hmm.
So are you asking what am I reading right now?
You have projects and you're reading. You told
Uh,
me a story once.
mhm.
There's three things you're going to do. And out of those three things, one of them was going to read a book.
I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna buy a book. Um, I'm gonna buy a dress. I'm gonna buy some food and eat it. So I'm gonna buy the book and read it. I'm gonna buy a dress and wear
That's
it.
weird.
And I'm gonna buy the food and eat it. Okay.
I mean, you are such a joy. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. I've seen recently
Uh-huh.
pictures of you on social media with children reading stories.
Okay.
You and a couple other people. Tell us about your traveling and reading to children.
Okay. So that's actually a part of my work because
Okay.
your girl got a whole job. Uh,
Full page.
a whole paying job. So I travel around the state. I take children's authors to schools around the state. And not only do they read their books, they do creative writing activities with the children at the schools. And the children actually get a signed copy of the author's book. So I do that. And we're at the end of the school year, and the program has done really well. This
Yes.
is the second year. And I've been able to see from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, being able to do that. So I really, and because I love reading, I love inspiring children to read. Um, some people when they was like, "Is that really your job?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my job." But
Yeah.
like people just thought, "Oh, that's just sometimes it does." I'm like, "No, this really my job," and I count it such a blessing to be
Yes.
able to do because I know there are people that go to work every day and hate their job.
That's
I
true.
mean,
That's true.
they hate it from thinking about it before they leave their house, all the way up until they get in their car to be
They
going back.
hate next week before it get there.
Now, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, and I won't act like oh, it's just warm and fuzzy all the time because the work that I get to do, there are a lot of moving parts and
Hmm.
pieces to making this stuff happen. But I really love the work that I get to do. I really do.
That's
Really do.
good. That's
Mhm.
good because the children look so excited. They be in tune to it. I saw where they're online waiting to get their book signed. They've
Yep.
never experienced that. So you're bringing something to the children that they only see on television, really,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
not too many parents take their children to book signings or to the
Mhm.
bookstore and sit down and read in the bookstore or to the library in some of the communities where the libraries have disappeared. And so I
Mhm.
remember seeing you wear that shirt. Meet me at the library. We're
Meet
gonna have
me
to
at the
find at the library. And so, I mean, this has been such a good. So tell us how we
Mhm.
can get involved with something that you're doing that would help you in your community advocacy projects.
Oh, you know what? That's a big question, but I got a really small answer.
That's okay.
Read a book with a child and have a conversation with them about that book.
Okay. Okay.
A age
Read a
of
book.
Pick a age appropriate book. Read that book with that child and have a conversation with that child. If you can do that once a month with a child, one child, not a group,
Mm-hmm.
you
One
helping me.
child.
You helping me.
Mm.
Mhm.
Wow.
You do that.
Wow. So when you get to the school and you see the children and they've already experienced holding a book, reading a book and saying,
Yes.
oh, so Miss So-and-so read this book. My mother, my sister, my brother read this book to me. You're such an inspiration to me, to the community. I know to the children, all the lives that you have touched over the years. And
Mhm.
we have a special bond, a connection. But if you like, comment, and subscribe, you'll find out.
You'll
Okay,
find out because we
you'll
can't
find.
tell them.
We can't tell you. We can't tell you. But
Mhm.
I mean, this has been such a great, great conversation.
Mhm.
Okay, what are your final thoughts that you would like to encourage the viewers to do in their community?
Um, Final thoughts on what I want people to do in their communities.
Mhm.
One, pay attention.
Wow, that's a big one.
If it affects you whether you know it or not,
Hmm.
pay attention. Just pay attention. Take care of the least in your community. The
Mm.
children and the seniors. Take care of them.
Yes,
Take care
yes,
of them.
yes.
Um, be patient.
Be patient. Okay.
Be patient. Somebody was patient with you. Be patient with who you need to be patient with. This just in your community.
Yes, in your community.
It's
Hmm.
in your community. I had experience yesterday. I stopped by the bank and it was an older gentleman in front of me. And he was talking to the teller. And they talked, it was a few minutes. I
Hmm.
wasn't in a hurry, so it didn't even bother me. So when I got to the window, the teller apologized. She said, "Oh, thank you for your patience." I said, "Ma'am, it is okay." I said, "I have to think about if my mama came in the bank to handle some business, would I want somebody rushing behind her?"
That's
She
so
said,
true.
"I appreciate that."
That's
So
so true.
we have to take care of the children and the old people. Now we got to take care of the people in the middle too,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
The
take
people
care of the people who
in
can't take care of themselves and who
so
are the
true.
most
So
vulnerable.
true.
Take care
Hmm.
of those people. Now that the key since I've been in my neighborhood 20 years, it make 20 years in May.
20. Hmm.
20 years.
Wow.
So the kids, my kids grew up with, they now have children.
Hmm.
So some of them stay across the street from me. So now it's the children of the children run over. Miss
Wow.
Tonja, Miss Tonja. So I pop open my trunk. It's never no telling what's in my trunk, but it's a snack, a
A
book.
book, something to give to them.
But yeah, you got to take care of the children and the old people. You got to take care of the children and old people.
That's awesome. Pay attention, be patient. So you
Yeah.
have a big vision for the next 5 years?
Big vision for the next 5 years. Not a big vision. There are some things that I would like to see differently on a
Okay.
different level. And I get asked something similar to this a lot. But I think I just want to do what I'm doing and just let it keep. I'm in no hurry. 'Cause I know sometimes you can want something that's over there,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't see what's right here. So I look over there, but I want to be present in what I got going on in my life right
You know
now.
what we gonna say, preach.
You
You
know,
know what we say, speak.
Yeah.
Speak.
Like you can
Mhm.
be so busy looking over there that, you gotta, like, man, look at what God doing right here.
Right here.
Like
Stay in position.
I don't even think I have really sat in all that has happened in my life in
Mm.
the last
Okay.
month.
In the last month.
In the last month.
That's why I had to get you on my podcast because you moving and shaking in Mississippi. I
But
had to get you on my podcast.
I'm like,
Mhm.
and when I look back, and I'm not gonna cry, wait a minute.
You can.
When I look back at Tonja, you've been doing this. You were just being you. You were just, it wasn't this the plan. This the 1 year plan, the 3 year plan, the 5 year plan. No, whatever God put in front of you at the time, that's what you
That's the
did.
plan. That's the
That's
plan.
that's that's the plan. And people really have no idea. And the crazy part is sometimes it's how dare you be this humble about what God doing? I'm being this humble about what God doing
Mm.
because I'm supposed to be this humble about
That's
what God.
right. Read the Bible.
Right? Look, I ain't finna be bigger than him.
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. The
That's a
opportunities, I'm like, oh my goodness, I get to do this. I really get to do this.
hmm
Look at it was some things where I knew in my maturity, my immaturity. I'm like, why didn't he pick me to do this? And
hmm
God said, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay. It's not
When it's
time.
your when it's your turn,
hmm
when it's your turn, I just need you to keep doing what I told you to do. You keep
hmm
doing that. You can. I'm telling you, it has been things I would have never thought. Never ever. I'm gonna give you a date. March 16th. I would have never.
Mm. Mm.
I
Okay.
have never, never. Nobody could have told me, like, oh, well,
You're
girl,
gonna be
please
doing
stop.
this or that. Yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
I was a witness. I was a witness to that.
mm-mm.
But I'm
So,
gonna quote Johnny Robinson.
okay.
Don't ever think you bigger than God. Ever think
Mm-hmm,
you bigger than God. And
mm-hmm,
when he starts moving and shaking in your life, I call it a
mm-hmm.
epic move. It's a big move. So
It's a movie.
always expect God to do something. Expect it to be on purpose.
Mm-hmm,
Most definitely it'll be intentional and
mm-hmm,
you just stay consistent. And I am so grateful that Tonja Murphy, Dr. Tonja Murphy, came to visit the pulpit wife. Y'all tell somebody that if they don't look at YouTube or Spotify, they're gonna miss it.
mm-hmm.
This is a rare occasion for pulpit wife to interview such a wonderful young lady. I'm proud of her. I'm excited about what God is doing in her life. I'm excited for the people connected to her and the people that she's going to connect to. And there's some
Mm-hmm.
more coming and whew, you can't see chill bumps on Spotify. But she got it. She got some things to share and most definitely a humble spirited, energetic person. Check her out. Tanya, give us some ways we can get in touch with you.
Okay, well, you can get in touch with me through TanjaMurphy.com. My website.
TanjaMurphy.com.
You can get in touch with me there. My social media platforms. I am most active. Honestly, I'm most active on Instagram, and it's Tonja Reads too, and that's TOO, which is kind of a flip because people like all she do is read. No, I do other things too.
She
So,
do other things. She do other things.
so
Okay.
Tonja Reads too.
Tanja reads too.
Mm-hmm.
Tanja. Tonja. Not
Tonj.
Tanya.
Yep,
Tanja.
Tonja.
Tanja Marie. Yes, that's it.
Tonja Reads.
Tonja reads.
Yeah, TonjaReadstoo.
Okay, there you go. It's in
Mm-hmm.
there. It's going to be there. Well, thank you, Tonja Murphy, Dr. Tonja Murphy, for coming to visit me. And prayerfully, I will be with you in the spirit, encouraging you to keep moving, keep doing
Thank
what you're
you.
doing, keep encouraging the community, the world.
Thank
And
you.
you have been listening to the Pulpit Wives podcast. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for more. Come back soon.